Hey, welcome back everybody to another episode of the Nobody's Listening to This Music podcast. I'm Andrew.
And I'm Eric.
And today, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, we're talking about Real Talk by Man Overboard.
Mano.
I saw these guys at Warped Tour at once in a dusty parking lot, and there were kids two-stepping to Fantasy Girl. And
there you go.
That's kind of when I wrote them off for the first time.
So you were two-stepping, you saw other people two-stepping?
I saw other people just like getting down and dirty.
Yeah, then you're like, nah, this isn't that.
I was in the crowd going, this isn't that. No, absolutely not.
That's hilarious. I feel like there's they occupy a very specific,
you know?
Yeah. I feel like Man Overboard occupies a very specific space of like core enough where like you could two-step, but then also like it's also kind of like poppy and like almost like indie sounding at times, and it's like
right.
Yeah, it's very specific. And then, you know, their whole, like we were saying off mic a minute ago, their whole branding, which we could get into later a little bit more, is the defend pop punk thing. And like,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I think similarly for a minute, I was like defensive of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what do you mean defend pop? Who's attacking it or whatever?
It? Nobody's attacking it.
And like Man Overboard, when they were like coming out with this stuff, this was like not my brand of pop punk at all.
Absolutely not.
So then I was kind of like, what is this? Wait, who are you? What is this? And
wait,
but yeah, now I'm.
Are you? You know the meme?
Yeah. Who are you? I'd love to see where that little video comes from. Can you source that real quick?
I can play the meme.
Okay, yeah, please. But yeah, then years later, this is like kind of the exact world of pop punk that I enjoy the most, I think.
Wait a minute. Who are you?
Perfect.
I couldn't hear it, but I'll listen in the final episode. The final mix
you would have had to see. You would have had to been on the stream. I played it.
Oh, gotcha.
I popped the video in and everything.
Who are you?
Who are you? What
So
a perfect segue. Eric.
Yeah.
Who are we?
Who are we?
So we've been seeing a minute uptick in listenership. So I feel as though we should just do a quick synopsis of what the show is.
Right.
The what's the word that I'm looking for? The genesis of the podcast is me and Eric texting each other back and forth whilst simultaneously on toilets, trying to think about what kind of podcast we could possibly do.
Yeah. Because for years we were listening to, you know, many podcasts, many of the same podcasts, and then, you know, every once in a while, very similar to our musical careers, hey, we should like do something soon. We should send, like if you write something, send me something sometime.
Right.
I'll like put some guitar on it. Oh, we should do a podcast.
Just a real hankering to collaborate again.
Yeah.
So then I think we had settled on wanting to do some type of music podcast, but we wanted to do it in a way that was not necessarily the way that people do it, like just reviewing music. So the idea of the podcast is for Eric to maybe give me something that I'm aware of but haven't given the time to listen to, or that he's aware of but hasn't given the time, or just neither of us know.
Yeah.
Recently, we've just been kind of revisiting like old mid 2000s emo stuff and pop punk. But the idea is for us to show each other new music and expand each other's musical horizons.
Yes, very much. And I think we've done that a great deal on this show.
Without
it's surprising, almost surprising to me we're only on 67. I feel like that's a big number of episodes, but it also
Yeah.
feels like we've got
With
way more than that.
bonus episodes included, I looked the other day, it's like 72 episodes.
Ah, okay. Now Fantasy Girl is on, and I'm picturing kids two-stepping, and I'm like,
It's
okay,
insane. Yeah,
It's a
but
little
anyways,
goofy.
back into the episode.
Yeah.
Fantasy Girl.
Yeah.
Okay, we can just get this out of the way really quick. These songs are wildly catchy, right?
Super duper catchy.
So, and I think that's the appeal.
Mm-hmm.
Because the lyrics are definitely not the appeal.
Yeah, the lyrics bothered me for a time too. Like I guess I really was not into Man Overboard for a minute.
Yeah,
Or
I
the
don't-
idea of Man Overboard.
Yeah, me neither.
But then then it turned into the kind of thing where I'm like, oh, this isn't any less cool than anything I'm already listening to, and probably more cool. Like, I'm just gonna actually like this now. And then the lyrics though, and it's funny because like the lyrics are
that's you finding out you liked it.
yeah, that's me coming around to Man Overboard. It's funny, like, at the time to be like, oh, the lyrics are kind of, like, cutesy and, like, kiddie or whatever. And now I'm listening to it, and I'm like, it's very what exactly, like, a high school kid would like lyrically. Like, it's about, like,
Yeah.
high school crushes and stuff. So it's, like, funny
I mean,
that
these
I was,
guys
like,
were pushing, like,
judgmental of that
30 while
at
they were
16.
writing it, so...
Yeah, are they, like, a little older?
Yeah, I think they had been in the scene a little longer than they would have liked to be. I think they got popular towards the end of their career.
To, like, the end of their 20s?
Yeah, I think I've seen videos of them performing in like 2008, 2009.
Yeah.
And they were already like had a bunch of people in New Jersey in a room. So
right.
I think they were big locally. They just weren't big in like nationally.
Uh-huh. I have that it's like just far enough where I can't reach it right now. Maybe I'll grab it to show you later, but their first EP
Yep.
on vinyl. It's like the 7-inch.
I
And
have
it's like a really
I have all of their releases, I think, besides that one and this one.
okay. I remember at one point, like when you and I were both kind of into records, we both kind of got some Man Overboard stuff. And then one time I was visiting Massachusetts and I was like looking through your records. And then every time I look at your records, I'm like, can I have this? Can I have this? Can I have all these?
Mhm.
Because sometimes it's like you are fully uninterested in having records, and then other times you really cherish them.
I think it's cool. I think it's a cool thing to have.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna listen to them ever again. It's a cool way to have physical music
Yeah, for
to
sure.
show your appreciation for a band.
But yeah, I've definitely almost taken your records a few times, your Man Overboard records a few times.
Yeah, I have like a good chunk of them.
Yeah. Yeah, super cool. What else? I think that's an episode.
Yeah. All right. So we're just gonna wrap it up here. So
Um,
yeah, it's lyrically, it's what threw me for a loop for a while.
Yeah.
Generally, I don't even listen to lyrics when I'm listening to music because I'm a music guy,
Yeah.
and it doesn't really matter what they're saying. But some of these were just catching me off guard, and I was like, the cringe.
Yeah.
But one of the really interesting things is the word choice.
Yeah.
The like cheesy word choice allows them to write some of the most good sounding words for the chorus. That sounded like I was having a stroke. They can use the vowels in a way that musically makes sense.
Yeah, good just vocals. Yeah. Harmonies, really good. Like the two singers together, Zach and I think
Yeah.
the other dude's name is Nick, the bass player, their voices work really, really well together.
Right.
Where sometimes I mix them up even, which surprises me because I feel like they like physically look like they would have very different voices, but they're actually kind of similar, I think.
Yeah, I think whoever the bass player is, I'm gonna go bass player, guitar player.
Yeah.
the bass player has, I think, a better voice. I think he's more he like understands singing a little more.
Uh-huh.
And I think the guitar player is just kind of whining a little bit.
But he's got the heart. He's the heart of the band.
Right. Yeah. They definitely both fill a different they like fulfill a different sound.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and so like on that tip too. So, you know, vocally there's just like really good harmonies and melodies and stuff. I think, you know, you were talking about how much you've been listening to like their other stuff and like Heart Attack. Did you happen to watch that the little Heart Attack making of kind of documentary thing?
I was watching it right before we hopped in the call.
Oh yeah. And like, but then like there's this part where Nick, the bass player, is like, yeah, Zach will just like come in with these ideas like, what if this part goes like, wow, and then like like just super like just coming in hot with like song ideas or little kind of nuancy type things that really end up making the songs what they are, you know? And
Yeah.
like
I'm playing
just
the documentary on the screen. Muted
oh, cool.
as
Let me.
an
Oh
ambiance
yeah, there we
piece.
go. That's a cool little. Yeah, nice. I like that. But yeah, it sounds like Zach, the guitarist, like is very like has a lot of like music in his head kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like conceptualizes songwriting really well. It's just a good songwriter.
Yeah. Oh, one thing that we should really bring up is we've talked about this man a lot on this podcast. I think he's
talked about this band a lot.
No, this guy, this man.
Yeah.
Will Yip.
Will Yip, yeah, legend.
Anytime there's a really good record with just amazing choruses and it's like really punchy, it always just so happens to be Will Yip behind the board.
He's on the ones and twos, as it were. He is very like just prolific and really talented, and like I think he does a good job at like elevating like what could be kind of like generic kind of poppy pop punk into something that's like, wow, that's cool. That's really cool.
How about having 3 guitarists for a pop punk band?
Yeah, I love that. And like their
so
tones,
many guitars.
Yeah, like there's definitely parts too. I think like, you know, those waiting room kind of videos. They like you can just really hear in that because it's mixed and produced really well, like what all the tones are doing. But even then, it's like at times it's all 3 guitars are just banging on the same chords, but it just sounds like so like big and like full and stuff.
Humongous.
And just like tones really dialed in. That other guitarist, Wayne, he's super. I really like the way
lefty?
He plays.
Or
yeah, the lefty. There's a few videos where he talks about like his gear and stuff. He's a big like gear guy, like, and I think it's cool that Zach will play typically a Strat, and then Wayne will play a Les Paul, and like just that kind of, you know, the tone difference there, I think does a whole lot.
Yeah, what I've noticed is if you watch live videos of Man Overboard playing, Nick will just stop playing guitar. For like chunks at a time.
Zach, the singer?
Yeah. He'll just he'll just like let go of his guitar and just sing.
Yeah, just kind of dance around.
And he just like won't even play his parts.
I love that.
So I think it makes sense in that sense to have 3 guitar players.
Yeah. It's like one of those things where it's like those bands where like one dude writes everything and then just has a bunch of other people play. And it's like, that's cool you're just singing because like you kind of made all the other stuff up. I don't know how much he writes the other guitar parts or whatever, but
right, like you did the work.
Yeah. But yeah, live too. I've seen them live a few times.
Okay. I don't mean to cut you off, but we're at She's Got Her Own Man right now.
Yeah.
So the thing is, remember earlier when I was like they use vowels to their corny
Yeah.
lyrics and their vowels to their advantage? The
Yep.
chorus for this song is the like the entire theory of this put to work.
Yeah. A lot of like, yeah. And I definitely agree with what you're saying. I think where like their vowels, it's just like they put vowels in a good spot where they can just shout them.
Right.
Like,
You made yourself
and
the guest of honor and the party got stopped.
yeah, you hear the stop. You hear the jersey come out.
There's so many times where you can hear that they're from that
Yeah.
area of the United States.
That's
Like
hilarious.
she's got her own man now.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys hang on their vowels.
Yeah, big time. Great chorus. This song's cool too.
Fantastic chorus.
It does kind of like I guess there's like verse chorus kind of structure, but it kind of feels like one of those songs where it just slowly builds throughout the song.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I think this album kind of turns on for me at this point.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I forget. Yeah.
I know a lot of people
Yeah.
that like this song, Al Sharpton.
Yeah.
This is like the hit or miss song for me of the record.
This one, I almost think this one could have been on that EP that I have.
Just like a holdover.
Yeah, because just musically too, it's very kind of like simple pop punk, like with like the little breaks and pauses and like the types of leads there are and stuff. To me it sounds like a little older, a little younger sounding or whatever. You know what I mean?
And then right after Al Sharpton comes the most adult song they've ever written. This song, Montrose, borders on like alt rock indie.
Yeah. I think that's exactly what I'm thinking when I said that earlier. Of like, it sometimes they'll sound like a little bit more indie or something, and like I think Montrose is what got me to be like, oh, this is very cool. This is like a much different type of song.
Kicks ass.
Yeah. When we did a few years ago, I think it was 2016, it was my first trip back to Massachusetts after I moved to Hawaii.
Yeah.
And I did a cover show that you were gonna be on, and then you didn't, and we've talked about that on the podcast before.
I had to take a inspector license test. I was going to become a Massachusetts state inspector.
Whew.
The kind that inspects your car.
Yeah.
And I held that license for 4 years.
You still hold that license? Oh, you had it for years.
I no longer hold that license.
Yeah, and that's fine. You know,
I left the industry.
That'll happen. But anyway, we played Montrose, and I think we also played Love Your Friends Die Laughing. We ended up having to play half the set acoustic because I think we had to like shuffle people around. So Frank played drums on a few songs. I think Uncle Dave tried to play drums on like a handful of songs, but obviously he had no clue what any of those songs actually were.
Right. Yeah, he's never listened to Man Overboard a day in his life.
Yeah, I think he hopped on a brand new one. We played 70x7 or something. But even then, I was like playing bass on that one, and I was like, I have no clue what I'm playing. It was like a half step down, so I was like trying to do the math of the chords in my head where they'd be, and I'm like, this is no good. But it was a fun set. But we played a number of Man Overboard songs.
Do you remember
Montrose
when we would, after Offshore Descent, we all kind of split off into our separate projects? Do you remember when I was in the band with Zach? And
yeah, Muddled Morals.
Yeah, and like sometimes I'd play bass and other times I'd play drums.
I do.
I used to play drums when the drummer didn't show up.
Just flaked.
It was so fun. It was cool to have a backup plan, but it sucked. Like I'd be like
Yeah.
so hyped to play bass, and I'd find out I was
Uh-huh.
playing drums that night 10 minutes before the set.
That's hilarious, dude.
I'd bring my drum
Yeah.
set. And I'd set it up just in case he was gonna
Just
show
in
up.
case. Okay, I guess that's me.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Montrose is so good though. Just like there's kind of like there's parts the guitar will do like cool things where it'll kind of like ring a chord and hang, and then the like it'll kind of
Right.
cut them, and like the like kind of leads that kind of like float in between and stuff. Just a really cool like
Not to mention that there's a guitar solo on this song.
yeah, like kind of a cool like is there some sort of like there's some cool pedal on there or something, makes it a little again like a little swirly or something. Yeah, and then I think for the most part when there's solos, it's that dude Wayne, who for a while on social media was Trippy Wayne, and I thought that was a cool name.
That's funny.
Yeah, but he plays guitar really cool. I like his stuff. I like him. I like his stuff.
This is a really short record.
Yeah,
This
it
is
is.
a 12-song record that's 33 minutes long.
That's actually nuts.
The other day when I was packing, as you can see, the room behind me is packed
Mhm.
up a little more than it was. I was listening to Real Talk while I was packing.
Yeah.
And I like blasted through it. And I was like, this is already over?
Yeah.
I had to put on
Yeah.
another album. I was like,
That's like yesterday I said, you were like, do you want to do the podcast? And I was kind of like, oh, I think I'll do it. We should do it tomorrow. And then I realized a couple minutes later, I was like, oh, I like did listen to this whole album. Obviously I've heard it in its entirety before, but I was like, I have a little bit more to go for like this re-listen. And then I was like, oh no, I did finish it. I love how Montrose goes into FM dial style. So like I said, the
this
album for
song
me
used
kind
to
of
just throw me off.
really,
Yeah, it's because the Montrose is such a Montrose should have been the last song on the record.
yeah.
It should not have fallen at song 8.
No. Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, so I think I almost feel similarly where I always kind of forget about these last ones, but I really like these. And for a time, I like you know, when you first kind of get into a band, you kind of pick certain songs or singles or whatever. So what I would do a lot of times is I'd make a little playlist of songs from a band I actually liked or like knew or like clung to a little bit more.
Right.
So I think I put on a playlist from Montrose to Septemberism. So like these 4 I know really well. And I remember there was this one time specifically, again, really cool guitar solo, Wayne, I think.
Right.
Just sick. Just like kind of yeah. But yeah, these like really like cutesy type lyrics, like again, I just didn't like for a while. And then at one point I was kind of like, oh no, this is like really nice. Like I like these
Oh.
like little love song kind of things.
You know what I'm noticing at the bottom of this? They were signed to Run
What?
for Cover
Oh, cool.
for this record.
Another
That-
one of those.
Yeah, we didn't,
Run for cover, Northeast, Will Yip.
dude. You sent me that Citizen song the other day.
Yeah.
That Citizen song ain't it.
You
Ain't it.
I feel like I enjoyed it, but yeah, I'm not an OG Citizen head, so I can't really. My opinion is kind of just like I'm a casual fan. And
Yeah, I feel like at this point I'm like a fake Citizen fan because I like the first like record that they did, and after that, and I'm like,
whatever.
I realize that
But-
sound is not a sound that you could just keep doing forever. Every band that's ever sounded like
Yeah.
that just like doesn't exist. They do like one
Yeah, it's either
record
you
that
break
sounds
up
like that.
because or yeah, then you switch it up to something a little different. It is definitely a different thing, but I think I'm gonna finish this thought and then I'm gonna hop on that one again. But so this little chunk of songs, like I said, there's this one day I really specifically can think of where it was Halloween 2014, and I was driving up to the North Shore by myself to go surf, and it was kind of like, I'm not like a good surfer, and I'd only ever surfed in Hawaii in the summer. And in the winter it gets crazy. Like,
Yeah, it's like
you can die.
It's like pro surfing.
Really, really easy. Yeah, professional surfing. It's like the mecca of professional surfing.
Yeah, it's like the waves crash at 5 feet on the shore.
Yeah, easy. Like, yeah, huge, powerful waves. Not just big, but like strong. Anyway, I went to the North Shore, and I remember being like kind of like a gloomy day, and I was listening to these songs, and then I was gonna meet a friend from school, and then he like was busy doing something, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna paddle out on my own. I got like maybe like 15 yards out from the shore, and I'm like trying to dive under waves, and I'm getting like shaken up on my board, and then I was like, okay, I can't get through these. I'm like, this isn't working. And then I like turn around, and I'm like, I'll just ride one in, and I just get like tossed, and I'm like,
Get pitted.
yeah. And then like I'm like trying to walk back onto the beach. Like when I get close to shore, my foot gets like stuck in a hole in the reef, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna break my leg now. And then like I ended up getting my foot out, but like then I just had to like sit on the sand for like 5 minutes. I was so winded. But like I lost the contact lens, and I didn't have my contacts for like 2 months after that. And then yeah, but I remember listening to these songs, and now I still really kind of vividly picture that drive and another drive when Alexis and I first got our own place, listening to these songs also. So they have some vivid memories to them for sure.
How about at the beginning of September is when he goes, all right.
Yeah. Sick. Yeah, there's cool little, I like that stuff. Or in the end of Montrose, the da-na-na-na. Woo!
Yeah. I love how much they don't give a fuck that you can hear the Melodyne. Sometimes the voice will just like snap.
Yeah.
To like the other note. Just like, you
know what's funny? That makes me think of what's it called? Come on. Oh, Rare. And not that happens, but like the tempo switch from the verse to the chorus.
So jarring.
I remember the first time we heard that, like, I think one of us had like a Warped Tour compilation CD or something.
Yeah.
And like we were listening to it, and we were like, whoa.
I have like over the years dragged that song into DAWs to like see if maybe it's I'm being an idiot and they're doing something like over my head musical. Like I'm like, so does the song open metric modulated?
Yeah,
and then swap to the triplets, or like swap out of triplets for straight count?
Do they slide into a syncopated thing that was happening already? Like,
right. And then I'm looking at it, and I'm like looking at the lines, and I have it all. What I've boiled it down to is there's no way that a lot of that isn't like one take.
Yeah, you think they just kind of
I sincerely don't know how you put that in a Pro Tools project. You literally it's like it's tempo changes. It's actually just tempo changes.
Right. Yeah, that's hilarious. It really is. And now it's like a little less jarring, but like the first couple times I heard that
first
song,
time you hear it, you're like, whoa.
And then I remember, by the way, also this in September,
you should have picked up the phone tonight.
Yeah, so sick. That part really reminds me of, and I love how after tonight, and then there's like just a little longer of a break than I think there should be before the music kicks in again. Dun, dun. And I love that. But it also really reminds me of Brand New. That whole part.
It's crazy that this album's already over. We're already done with it.
Yeah. Oh, but then I remember going to Warped Tour the next year, and when they played Rare, and we were like looking at each other like, it's about to do the change, the tempo change.
Yeah, like how do they do that?
And then I
They have
remember
to-
another time too.
They
Right
can't
before I
be
moved-
playing to a click. Like a lot of
Nah, you don't
bands,
think?
the drummer with in-ears is playing to a click and everybody else is like listening to him.
They strike me as a earplug band.
Yeah, but I've seen their rigs live and they all have in-ears in.
Oh, really?
But like
That stuff was always so confusing to me.
I'm like, how the fuck if they're playing to a click, they shut the click off for that song.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, how do you can't map that?
It can't be done.
You can't.
This
There's a
song's sidekick.
Guy sitting like typing in fucking
yeah.
Okay, 120.
They're just playing to. They have the song on in their headphones.
Right. The drummer's just playing to the recorded version of the song.
I don't like this song sidekick.
Me neither.
It's like I feel like
Had they
now
got
that
rid
I'm
of this
hearing
song and moved Montrose here, I think this album is perfect.
yeah. I guess no, this does kind of strike me as I feel like around this time, and I think we even played with this idea at a time with Offshore Descent when we were gonna do a full length, which somehow we never did. We just never wrote enough songs, I think. But
Yeah, we were too focused on being tight on songs that we already had and not
yeah,
writing.
yeah,
new
we would
music.
play 4 songs for 4 hours at practice every week.
Well, we'd play
Um,
like 2 full sets and then iron out stuff that was wrong.
Yeah. Good on us though, because we probably needed it, and that's how I learned to play music. So
We were tight.
Um,
I won't hear it from anybody that towards the end of Offshore Descent we weren't tight.
But I think at this time in the scene, a lot of bands were doing almost electronic-y songs for a last track. I know All Time Low did it on like their full length before So Wrong It's Right, the party
Right.
scene. Fall Out Boy did it on some release. Maybe it was just a torrented version, but there was like some electronic remix of like Sugar We're Going Down or something.
Yeah, I think
or-
that's from Under the Cork Tree Deluxe.
yeah.
I'm gonna
So-
play Heart Attack while we wrap this up.
okay, cool. Me too.
Um,
I think this first track of Heart Attack is one of my favorite songs of theirs.
I like how the intro guitar part is just like a jangly guitar part, but then ends up being the lead.
Yeah.
Very cool move. I
Super
think
sick.
standout songs on Heart Attack for me are definitely this one, Secret Pain, Where I Left You, and then
Oh,
it's
yeah.
White Lies. I think is legitimately one of the best songs they ever wrote.
Yeah. I also really like Boy Without Batteries. That's the one in that little documentary, the bass player for Newfound Glory is like, I want to play on that one. Because he was like helping them write or something.
Right.
And that was like
So-
cool to me, where he's like, I wanna play that.
I've had this thought while I've been listening to these records, right? And you know how you're always like, everybody says this about Man Overboard. We've even said it this episode. The lyrics are like childish and even at times like a little fucking weird.
Yeah.
I love that in Boy Without Batteries. He says, you want to hear something creepy.
Yeah. And just very like kind of, yeah, totally. I do like that.
Just
And
very self-aware that him obsessing like this is weird.
yeah, but also in a way very normal too. Like to just like keep your ex's shirt or whatever, and like, oh,
Yeah.
doesn't smell like
Doesn't smell like
their
you
perfume
anymore.
or whatever. Yeah, like that's
I'm
just
skipping.
like
I'm
one of
playing it.
those
I'm playing it right now.
weird
I'm gonna put
relatable
the
things.
Volume up a little bit. Hold on
Sick.
here.
You wanna see something creepy? Remember this? It's been 6 years.
Oh, I started to say earlier about Will Yip though. There's a similar, not really similar, but just the fact that it's like a studio video with about a Will Yip record being recorded for a Title Fight Shed, and they made a VHS, and now that is on YouTube, the Shed VHS, and they're recording with also with the dude from Gorilla Biscuits.
Nice.
Yeah, and then he sings on one of the songs at least, and it's just super cool. You should watch that sometime while you're packing or something. It's like a cool just kind of background studio video thing. But yeah, that's kind of a cool thing is it seems like these bands go to Will Yip, who is a really good producer, but then also are bringing in, like, Man Overboard brought in Newfound Glory people for this record, or Title Fight brought in the Gorilla Biscuits dude for that one.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, it seems like Will Yip is a good facilitator of collaboration or something.
If I want to, I'm going to make a, what are those charts? The data charts with the dots?
A graph? I don't know.
And then you like
Line graph?
You put a line through like where the most dots are.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I'd call that a.
I don't know.
What is that?
It's
spread, a flow chart? No, is that a line graph?
I have no idea. Anyways, I'm gonna make one of those for. It's gonna be year.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Will Yip. And see how many of the dots land in the exact same spot.
Okay, that's good.
Because
I
I think 2013 Will Yip is a big portion of the music that we listen to.
Yeah, for real. I would definitely agree with that.
He was a busy man in 2013.
Yeah, for real.
2012, 2013.
Yeah, that time. Super sick. Wrapping up.
Yeah, a little bit. Why don't we talk about... Let's talk about Man Overboard's marketing in general.
Okay, yeah. Back to the defend pop punk thing. So that was like, what is that? Who's fighting it or whatever?
Right.
Eventually, I really fully got on board with that whole idea and world of like pop punk. There's a really, remember that dude Jared whatever, and I would literally die for pop punk.
Jared Alonji?
Yeah. There's a post on my Instagram forever ago. Let me see if I can find it. And it's like a little cartoon of him holding a pizza slice. Yeah, here we go. I would literally die for pop punk.
That's so funny.
This was a real time where this is so funny to me is my caption.
Did you make that?
No. I just found it and reposted it.
Oh, I was going to say, because I could...
Like, it's just so pixelated. It's terrible, but... Yeah. Oh, but then anyway, so I guess the background of that is like, there was another band whose thing was like destroy pop punk. Like it literally was a band had merch that looked the same that said destroy pop punk or something like that. So then they made defend pop punk. I think is what it comes down to. And then also in Hawaii, when I first moved here, I noticed so many people had bumper stickers that said defend Hawaii in like a very similar font, and I was like, is that how big Man Overboard is, where they're like,
right,
just Hawaii in general is spoofing the Man Overboard thing? And I think it was pretty separate, but it was just weird coincidence.
When we were at All About, the defend All About shirt, that was my idea.
Yeah. There you go.
It was a squirt gun that said defend All About.
Oh yeah. Man, I had a good All About shirt that I lost forever ago.
Yeah, I no longer have any of mine.
Yeah, I think I got rid of a bunch of them.
We talked about gear a little bit.
Talk about what?
Gear a little bit, but one thing
Yeah.
that strikes me about this band, and I will have one, and it will be mine.
Yes.
I've talked about it a few times, even probably in even past episodes. I want a grabber. I want a Gibson grabber.
Yeah, that's a good grail piece.
They're like $2,000. I hit up Dave the other day because I was like, whatever happened to that grabber? And he's like, I sold it for like $1,500.
Yeah, sounds about right.
And I was like, that's not like, that's fair.
Yeah.
I was
No, that's
re-
okay.
I was really hoping he was gonna be like, I have it.
I have it. Want it?
For real.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
But
I've
or
definitely
like I could
hoped
like
that
at least offering
before.
him money for it.
Right.
I would have bought it
Um,
for sure.
No, yeah, definitely. This video, I think this was a really cool time. I remember when this video came out that there was like dudes from the story so far in this video in the video.
Right.
At least specifically Parker Cannon, and I remember that was when the story so far was like kind of coming up to, in our world at least. Still, they're in one way or another had fully arrived already, but like I think they were on their way to being like the cool band.
For
And it was
anybody
like,
who
oh, sick.
For anybody who doesn't know what the grabber is,
Yeah, you're tossing it up on the little
yeah.
sick.
That's a Gibson grabber.
I almost think he might play a Ripper because it's black, but I could be wrong.
A Ripper is a different thing entirely. I did the research.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, with that sliding pickup for some reason, which doesn't make a ton of difference in tone, but it's a cool little gimmick.
Yeah, I just love how this thing looks. It looks so
Yeah.
goofy. And what's not apparent from the picture is how thin it is.
Yeah,
It's super thin.
and it just plays really great.
Or at least the one that we played did.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
that's
could
a-
vary
A
wood to
Gibson
wood,
grabber
but
at this point is legitimately a vintage guitar.
yeah, just period.
So a Ripper looks similar, but the headstock is way different and the pickup is way different.
Gotcha.
So I'm trying to find a good
Oh,
picture.
I could
of
almost
one.
picture the headstock. I'm gonna grab my records real quick.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. There it is. That's a Ripper.
I think I have another one somewhere, but it might be in the fridge. But this is that one, the Hung Up on Nothing.
Yeah. No, oh, yeah. I
Um,
remember when you get that.
Yeah, I guess those songs from Real Talk are not on this. It's just this track listing. But I also really like the layout. And when I saw the layout of this, I was like, I think I want to create maybe not album art, but like layouts. Like it just looks,
Yeah,
it
like
fits
organize
cool to me.
somebody's record.
Yeah, with like the lyrics and the track list and the liner notes and stuff. Yeah. But that's this one. And then I also have just on me this split with Transit. So this is a cool one. I think they pressed this, probably a while ago, but when Tim Landers from Transit passed a couple years ago,
Yeah.
they repressed this. So I got one. I think it was like it went to like some funeral costs or something. But cool.
My
cool
records
little,
are so far packed away, I couldn't even think about getting them out.
I
right now.
bet, yeah.
So we're
But,
coming to the portion of the podcast, Eric, where you are now to assign me something. Also,
Okay.
the chorus for White Lies is on right now. I'm turning it up.
There you go. So sick. Okay. So this sucks. This is always the
Always so hard. Always the worst part.
And it's like I think
Realistically,
of something,
should have
and then
something
I'm-
together. Never do. Like both
Never.
of us never. Do.
Yeah. It's like like a couple weeks ago I was like I'm going to give you this album, and then we decided on Man Overboard, and then so now today I was like, "Oh, I'll just give him that other album." But then I'm like, I don't know if I really want to do that anymore. But now I kind of have to cuz I can't think of a new album.
Dude, if we
while-
actually had people that watched us, we could do like a straw poll.
Oh
you
yeah,
can
that'd
like
be
set up
cool.
a thing where people can like click on the link or type in 1 or 2 in chat and it pulls straws.
Oh, that'd be cool. So what I think I'm gonna give you, we'll keep on this pop punk thing for a little bit. Different lane of pop punk for sure. Maybe
Okay.
an album I don't even stand by enjoying that much right now, but at the time a few years ago, it really did something a little for me. Or let me see. I think I'd like to do. It's by The Maine. Have you ever gotten into The Maine?
If this isn't the main record, I've never heard it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so now I'm kind of deciding between a couple albums but I think I want to do American Candy.
Okay.
So this one I remember being cool. It was just, so I guess it's a 2015 album, and it was at a time, that's also to say 2015 was a large year for the scene. I think it was kind of a last win for a lot of bands. In full relevance.
It was the time. It was the year that everybody put out their sophomore record.
Yeah.
That everybody was like, "This is fucking sick."
Yeah,
And
or
then they put out-
sophomore or third.
Right.
But
and then they put out their like third or fourth record at the like in 2018, and everybody's like, "Who cares?"
yeah, it was really like really interesting where it was just like there was, like we keep talking about, there was like the 2012, 2013 kind of like, oh, these bands are on the rise. These bands are getting huge. They're like getting really good. And then 2015 was like, whoa, yeah, this is sick. And then after that, it was like Warped Tour literally just ended. Like it was kind of like this. It feels like the scene died in a sense, or at least the crop of bands that we were really stoked about.
I would agree.
But anyway, this main album, I think at the time I listened to and I was kind of like, oh, that's like a cool different thing. Like in a way, it's like kind of just pop rock, but in a cooler way than some other bands popped themselves, I blew myself. Arrested Development.
That's a good one.
Yeah. So this is like a little 10-song album, 35-minuter, American Candy by The Maine.
Yeah, I've definitely meant to listen to more The Maine, but I've gotten like a quarter of the way through it and gone like, no.
Yeah, for me, there was like a couple albums right around this time that I think they put out a podcast, a couple of them, and I started listening to that, and then I was like, I'll listen to their music, I guess. And then I remember liking this album, because I'd never gotten into them before either. So I don't even really, I know the first album.
That first White and Gold album.
Yep.
I used to listen to that like quite a bit.
Can't Stop, Won't Stop. Yeah.
Can't Stop, Won't Stop, yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, thank you everybody for listening. I've received some feedback on the podcast recently from a source that won't be what's the word that I'm looking for?
Revealing, disclosing.
I won't be disclosing the source, but the person in question would like us, instead of going, I think we already talked about this and then not talk about it, to then talk about it anyways. Because I guess about 50% of the time we actually never talked about it.
That's interesting.
This is coming from somebody who has listened to all of the episodes in a row.
Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, sometimes we say something to the effect of, we probably already talked about this, but, and then we do a short synopsis and we don't like actually get fully into it.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm very guilty of constantly like putting out disclaimers when I just speak, and I think it's obnoxious and I wish I did it less.
And then what was the other part? I can't remember the other note.
This song's really good. Sad, SAD.
Oh yeah, I'm beyond that because I skipped a song, but I agree.
Gotcha. I think they recorded Heart Attack on tape too.
What I believe what actually happened was they recorded it all in Pro Tools and ran it through tape
That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
because tape's just so expensive,
I wonder how often when bands claim that they recorded on tape.
and they actually
That's
recorded digitally and then ran it through tape.
Yeah,
Probably pretty often
it's fine. Fine by me.
because you can't record it on tape unless you have straight up Dave Grohl money at this point. Anyways, we'll be back next week talking about The Main.
Might be another tape album.
Might be another tape album.
I'll check on that. They have one.
We'll make
I'll talk
sure
about
that we don't give disclaimers before we say things and then don't say them.
Uh-huh.
We're both very guilty of it.
Yes.
Make sure to show up to the live streams. And if you're a new listener, welcome.
Welcome. Hello. Howdy.
Quick with it.
Also listen to the movie podcast.
Yeah,
Tuesdays
listen-
or Fridays.
So for anybody who doesn't know what the movie podcast is called, it's Nobody's Listening to This Movie Podcast. But
Yeah,
here's the
like
thing.
we have a yeah.
Here's the thing. So confusing and we should fix it. And I meant to talk to you about it. We'll talk about it live right now.
Yeah, let's do this.
This
on air.
podcast is called
Chop it up.
The Nobody Is Listening to This Music Podcast across everything now. I changed it all.
Okay.
The movie podcast is Nobody apostrophe S.
Nobody's listening, yeah. I thought we rebranded to the apostrophe S a long time ago, so that's when I made the movie one. That's how I branded it.
Yeah, I had to rebrand everything because our search engine optimization was horrendous.
Oh, with the apostrophe S.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. Probably won't change that, but it's good
Okay,
to
so hey guys, you'll never find it, but try to find it anyways.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe I'll try it. Maybe we'll do an experiment. I'll change it 1 week, and then see if we get more
so
listeners.
it's
on that
almost like
episode.
the name of this podcast, except it's spelt slightly differently.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Just cool. Good luck. Yeah.
Yeah, we do this all the time, where I just outro a thousand times. This has been the Nobody's Listening to This Music Podcast. I've been Andrew.
I've been Eric.
You know, make sure that you support
Another
the
one.
people that you need to support, you know?
Yeah.
See you later.